Hello, everyone. We're excited to have you all here today on our webinar about our new purchasing service here in Alcove. My name is Valeria. I'm the CEO of Alcove, and I'm joining this particular webinar in support Paige, our head of product, to announce this really great feature that I think it's going to have a really great impact in you all's workflow. So we'll start just a little bit about what's going to happen today. I'm just going to start with a very brief intro of what the service is all about. And then I'll hand it over to Paige so she can walk you guys through the application, through all the steps of what you need to do in order to begin delegating and outsourcing your procurement process. So as many of you know, Alcove is a procurement management application, also supporting project management aspects of your business, like the ability to send invoices and estimates to your customer. But at our core, we are a procurement application. And as per the request of many of you, we had a request to offer services of procurement beyond just the software component. And what that means is that many of you are still struggling with contending with placing many orders through vendors, understanding the shipping status of them all, and it continues to be an overwhelming task. So we're really excited. Last week we launched our first procurement management and purchasing service. And what does that mean to you and your business? Well, now you can delegate to Alcove your procurement management and purchasing process. You will have the ability from the application itself to request quotes through the system with a click of a button directly from your product hub. We support over 70 to the trade vendors in the system. And Paige will show you all about it, but it's really exciting that you can now source trade products directly from the application. There's no set catalog in the system, so that gives you the freedom of being able to bring any product from any of these vendors into the application, into your project management system, and request a quote if it's a vendor that we support. And because our service, I think this is the most important thing, because our service is integrated with your project management system, you'll be able to see a lot of automatic things like order tracking for those products and other automatic updates that otherwise, if you are procuring on your own, you would have to come and record yourself. It's important to note that this is just an add-on. It's a service that you can take advantage of through the system. But we know many of you already have your vendor relationships, and you can continue to source for your projects directly through the application, send POs to your vendors and all that, and manage the business just the way that you've been managing it as of today. But if you have the need to delegate the procurement and purchasing process for some of these products, or maybe you don't have an account with a particular vendor, you can always take advantage of our service and request a quote through the system, and we will support you not only in the purchasing process, but also as the product moves through that logistics network all the way to its final destination and to your local receiver. The goal here with our service is to relieve many of you and your teams from the burden of having to contact multiple vendors, track orders manually across your projects, and handle all those damage claims. So now, all within your project management and procurement management application, you will be able to do so. And it's not just all automated. You have access to our team. We have a full access through our chat support. So you don't need to leave the app, send us an email or anything. You can just quickly tap into your chat and get a hold of a human to process any claims or any issues with your orders. Now I'll leave it up to Paige now to take the stage and walk us through how to do that.
Awesome. Thanks, Valeria. We're super excited to have you guys all here, and we've got a great group today. Just a note, there is a chat on the right. So if you do have questions as we're going through the demo and talking through this process, please feel free to drop them there. We will answer them kind of as we go, but also at the end, we'll spend a minute and go back and actually do some FAQ as well. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now and show you guys a little bit about this new purchasing service. So for those of you that have an Alcove application, you're going to be very familiar with a lot of this. For those that have not yet signed up yet, you do get a 2-week free trial, and we do offer, I wanted to point out, we do offer onboarding help. That is with me. This is a link to my calendar. So as you get going, you sign up for your free trial, you want to get onboarded, you need help importing your projects or whatnot, or at any point in time, even for existing users, you want to go through and go more in depth or even get an up-to-date training on the latest and greatest, please feel free to schedule here. You can also always send us a chat message by clicking down in the corner. This is a really fast way to get in touch with us at any point in time. But today I'm going to focus really heavily on this new purchasing service and how to submit a quote and go through that process with us and get started. So a couple of things that I wanted to note as changes to start. First off, we have moved your profile and your company profile here into the top right corner of the application. So if you click on company profile, you're going to now see there's a little bit more information that's here. And we also have this opportunity here to get verified. So in order to, once you've placed your first quote, in order to get that first response, we just need you to submit this information. So we'll remind you during the process if you haven't yet done it. And if you do have a resale certificate, you can upload that here and submit that for verification. If you do not, that's okay. Just mark that you do not have one and we can chat about it, but it shouldn't be a problem. So once you've done that, you've submitted your information. The other thing that you can do, if you just want to kind of browse who the verified vendors are in our service, we do have a help article, which we can post at some point here in the chat as well. But anytime you're in the application, if you see this little check mark next to a vendor name, that's going to be the indicator that this is part of the Alcove purchasing service program. So these are vendors that you can request quotes. So as long as you mark them as a vendor on a product, you're going to be able to request a quote on that item. So I'm going to show you guys how that works now. So if you come now into your project, and I would recommend going to any page where you can access products, but we can start with the product status. And then you click into any of your products. So I'm going to click on this first one here, the angle corner sectional. So you'll see here that I have assigned Bernhardt to this product already, and it has that check mark. But even in this drop down, as you're assigning vendors, you'll see here that check mark. So that helps you understand that those are vendors that you can ask for quotes. So here you're going to see a new tab on the product details page called quote. So if this is not a verified vendor, you're going to see a different message here. And actually, I think I can just show you guys that really quick. So it just shows you that this vendor does not support quote requests and to contact them per your existing relationship. That being said, if you want to always chat us with vendors that you're looking for us to support, and we can work on adding those to our program. So we'd love to know what those vendors are that you would like us to connect with. So I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to actually use our search and find Bernhardt. So you can see now how that message changes, and now I have the opportunity to request a quote. Now, when you're clipping the products in or importing, you're bringing in a lot of these product details already in that process. But when you click on the request a quote button, you're going to see we're going to bring those product details up into the quote. So if any of these are missing, you need to include at least one image and also a ship to address. So those things must be assigned as well in order for this button to turn green when it says submit request. But when you have all this information here, everything's ready, you can click submit request. So you're going to see a little summary page here. You can see at the top, you now have a quote number for this item, and you have the button here that says submitted. So it tells you the status of that quote. You can see here some information about how this process is going to go. We're going to walk through these steps together. But also you can always click here, which takes you to our help center where we have a lot of information and things about this process. At any point in time during this process, you'll see this Ask a Question button at the top right. This is a great way to just get in touch with us really quickly. This is going to open up the chat, and it's going to add that quote number directly into the chat here so that when you're asking the question, we have a really quick reference as to which quote you're curious about information on. So this is just your summary page. I'm going to X out of this. You can now see that in this area, we see quotes submitted, and it tells you we're working on the quote. Please contact us with questions. At any point in time, you can click this quote details, and you can see the status of the quote and what you submitted to us for that quote information. We have here the ability to cancel the quote. So if you decide you want to cancel, maybe you want to resubmit with a different information, or you missed something, or vendor notes, feel free, you can cancel that and resubmit here during that process. One note on this, if you are trying to submit the same product with different SKUs or different colors, we do recommend that you use our duplicate product feature. So you can duplicate this product really quickly and then submit a second quote on the other product page. So it's easier for us if we have a quote, let's say for each color. And then once the client decides on that color, you can always decline the ones that the client didn't go with or that you decided not to present. And those will no longer show in your summaries. So that's an easy way to do that. And you can duplicate from a lot of different places. So I can show you that in a bit as well. So now your quote's been submitted. We're working on it. And when we are done getting the quote from the vendor and sending back that information, you're going to receive a notification. Up here, you'll see these quote response notifications. So that just means that we've sent you a quote response back. And let me close this, the status of that quote. So this is one that I've submitted before. I've received a response. You see here that received response, and it provides an expiration date. So this just means that you'll get a notification if you come back in to accept a quote after it's expired. It's just going to ask you to resubmit it so that we can verify the pricing information and make sure everything is correct. So we click on quote details. Once you've received that response, you're going to see some information here. You see your original quote that you sent to us. You're also going to see the quote response that we've sent you, as well as your overall savings on the product from retail. So here you're going to see shipping cost, and it'll show you if, let's say, the unit cost or the shipping cost is different than what you already have recorded in Alcove. Just as a note, when you do accept the quote, it is going to overwrite these fields for you. So we're going to bring in this quote information. We're going to bring in the lead time, the retail price. All of this is going to pull into your Alcove financials in that process. So there's nothing else you have to do to like copy that information over. It's already done. So you can review this quote. You can propose to your customer, go through your process. You can use our approvals section to send this over and get the approvals, estimates, etc. When you're ready, you can either decline the quote if you decide that you're not going to go with it, or you can accept it. So by clicking this button, it gives you a little notification here that we are going to overwrite those fields. You click accept. So now you can see that the status here has changed to accepted, and we're going to let you know that now we're going to add this quote to an order for you. So one note here, you can see when I X out, you see the lead time's been updated, your financial information's been updated. So there's nothing else that you need to do in regards to making sure that all of your costs and information is correct on the product. So once we have, you've accepted these, right? Here's another one that you've accepted. You can come in here and see this here. You'll start to see that we're going to add these into your orders. So there's going to be a new type of order in your order page. So here under procurement, you now have a quotes page, which will show you all of your quotes that are in process or have been, that have been completed as well. So you can get a status there at any point in time, but also this orders page, which will show you as well as regular orders, which you're adding yourself per normal, we're going to show you Alcove orders. So we did add this nice filter here at the top so that you can click to see just the Alcove orders that are being managed by Alcove. Awesome. So once we've received that acceptance of the quote, we're going to go in the back end and we're going to add the items to an order. So an important thing here is you may have 5 or 6 or 7 or who knows, 10 items from one vendor, let's say 4 hands, and you want to pay for those all as one. You can basically keep accepting those quotes. We're going to add them to the open order here. You see up here at the top that it's being managed by Alcove. So you can't update some of the information in here because we're going to be managing that for you. But in this case, you can wait until you're ready. So at the point where you come into this order and you see that, let's say there's 3 items on here, you really want to get these ordered now, you can come in here and you can click this submit for payment button. What that's going to do is tell us in the back end that you're ready for this, for an invoice to be created. You're ready to pay for this order and get it ordered and off and submitted to the vendor. So I'm going to click that button and it's just going to change this to an order sent status. And it's going to tell you that it's been submitted. So now what you're going to do, you're going to come back. We'll be in contact with you during this process by chat. So you're going to get emails and chats about the process and about the order, letting you know that it's ready to be paid. And when you come into the order that's ready to be paid, you're going to see your invoice here. We're going to attach that to this product. You can view it in the gallery or download it. And it's going to have a pay now button on it where you can pay the invoice online, and that will record your payment against this invoice. We'll update this so that the order is confirmed. We'll add your order date and we'll update the invoice and payments to paid. So at this point, everything's been paid and this order is ready to go. One thing too here, you can see as well, you can see your all of the quotes that are in this order. You can reference those really quickly right here, and you can click on them to view them within the order itself. So the really great thing about about using our purchasing services, is that now we're going to manage this order for you. So you're already in the Alcove account. You're already managing all of your products across all of your vendors and everything in the product status page. But now all of this information around lead times, around tracking information, the order, we're going to update the dates for you. We're going to have that tracking notification when that gets delivered. All of that's going to be done by us on the back end. So you no longer have to come in and manually manage those items that are being managed in the Alcove orders that you've ordered through us. So it's a really great way to reduce a bunch of time and energy and stress that you guys are handling. We know you're handling a ton of products against lots of vendors, lots of communications. And so this is a great way to just be able to outsource that to us. And we still do, as Valeria mentioned before, we're going to give you your designer discount, so you don't have to worry about losing that in the process as well. We also have those standardized shipping fees, so it's really clear for upfront what that shipping is going to be. I know I've had many conversations with you guys about the frustrations around billing clients, and then how prices can change and shipping can change, and you're not prepared for that. So we're trying to streamline some of that for you to make this process easier and better overall. But that's the general overview of the quoting process and how to get that going and the ordering. And I think we're going to have Valeria join back up, and we'd be happy to do some FAQ. I see, we've had a couple of questions here in the chat and whatnot, but we'd love to just kind of open it up if you want to post anything in those areas, and we're happy to kind of open up the floor to questions. I don't know, Valeria, if there's some other things you want to kind of talk about in the meantime as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Paige. Yes, so I know there are some questions, and I want to make sure that they're all addressed regarding the process and the policies. So Couple things, pricing. So yes, we quote at designer net pricing. And what that means is that you would get the same benefits as if you were to source directly through the vendor, but you would be kind of delegating to our procurement management department all of those aspects of tracking logistics, and so you don't have to have that in-house. And you can streamline all that from within the app. The service is available at every tier. We have a procurement tier and we have a professional tier. Doesn't matter which one you're signed up for, you will be able to take advantage of the purchasing service. Samples. So we know that many of you will have sample requests for fabrics, tile, and finishes, and we're happy to contact the vendor on your behalf and have any samples shipped directly to your office, so you can present to your customers. So that's something that you can certainly just let us know through the chat. Hey, I placed this quote. I'm interested in getting a sample for this particular finish. Please ship to the following address, and then we will revert back with a confirmation to let you know that the sample order has been placed. Shipping policies, Paige already touched on this, but it's really nice that we can charge only a 15% rate across the board on all your orders. That way you're not kind of guesstimating with your customer. If you want to mark that up for your customer, you can do that after once you're kind of presenting to your customer and going through the approvals, estimates, and invoices. But our quotes will be responded back with a standard 15% shipping rate across the board based on the purchase price. Lead times. So the lead times in our system, for those of you that have been using our system may already know how it works. But our lead time section in our application, especially in that kind of product hub, they are calculated. It's the time between the order date and the shipping date. So if the item is in stock, and that would mean that there's no lead time. So we will revert the quote back to you saying there's no lead time. The item is in stock. As soon as the order is placed, the item will ship to your destination. If there's a lead time for production, let's say it's an upholstery or some other product that requires some a lead time, we will find out what the lead time of that product is and then enter it in the system for you so you can see it clearly within the application in your product hub based on the time that you ordered it. Let's see. Do we ship internationally? We get that question a lot. We launched on Wednesday, and already we've had a couple of companies that are based in Mexico or shipping to Hawaii. We do not ship internationally. That being said, we will take your shipment to the nearest international ports. So if the item is going somewhere on the west, let's say Hawaii, there are freight forwarding companies in LA. So of course you would take care of that shipment from the port to the final destination, but we have also customers or design firms in the Caribbean. So usually those depart from a port in Jacksonville or Miami. So we will take the product there. And then at that point, usually it's the design firm that picks the freight forwarding company. So just let us know where you want us to ship the product. And we do encourage you to either have yourself or whoever's your company that's going to be forwarding the product to the end destination to inspect once the item arrives, to make sure that there's no damages or claims, so we can handle those in the United States. But once they have been shipped overseas to either Mexico, the Caribbean, or even to Hawaii, because there's transit overseas, we don't take any returns at that point. So that's just one important note regarding international shipment. But it doesn't matter where it's going in the world, we can definitely get it to the nearest port for you. Let's see. Paige, do we have any other questions on the chat?
Yeah, we just had a couple about payments. So, just as a note, we're directly integrated with Stripe that you can actually use in your payments on your invoices as well. But we are using our own system to give invoices to you. So you'll see that. But we also use Stripe there. So you just add your credit card and pay directly to us, and we'll handle the payment to the vendor. Another question was around presentation sheets for clients with images. So we do have an entire, and I can actually share my screen. again here real quick. We have an entire approvals section for those that are not familiar with the website. So you can manage your room boards, all the items in your rooms, and you can share this in a nice live website with clients to get approvals and comments, and you can customize what information you would like to share with your client in that process. So we have lots of great features in the rest of the site as far as project management and procurement management that we would be happy to show you on onboarding call or jump on during your trial, and you can play around with all of these items. We had one more, Valeria, around returning items if your client does not like the item.
Okay, that's a great one. It depends on the vendor, and that's on a case-by-case basis. That's why we like to leave this chat open to make sure that we can just revert your questions or your requests to the vendor. But I think it depends mostly on the vendor. We do know that if the item arrives damaged, for example, at that point, you'll have the option to notify us through the application. So let's say that the item gets to your local receiver, your receiver notified you that the item was damaged. We encourage you to go ahead in your application and tag the product as damaged. Once that product is tagged as damaged, we will get a notification on the system, and we will proceed to open a damage claim with the vendor. Each vendor has different policies on how to handle those, but we are familiar with them, and we can help you walk through those and make sure that it goes smoothly. We do require that as part of that damage claim, you go to your receiver portal section and upload any images of the packaging as it arrived to the warehouse and images of the damage. And there's a couple ways usually to resolve these issues. If it's a minor damage, usually we can arrange for somebody to come in and repair the product at the warehouse. If it's an item that it's beyond repair and we have to return it, usually depends on the vendor. Some vendors will give us a credit, and we'll give you a credit for the entire product, so you can place another order. And some of them may not even, depending on the size of the item, they may not really require us to ship it back. Maybe the item gets donated. So it's on a case-by-case basis. What I would say is, like, if the client does not like the item, usually if there's a return policy, it's based on the vendor, and there'll be most likely a restocking fee, usually between 15 to 20% to return that item in the event that the vendor supports or allows for returns. But just keep in mind that every vendor has different policies, and we are just going to be transferring those policies onto you as well when you're kind of placing the orders. And if you have questions about this particular vendor or what the process is and the policies, we're more than happy to put together a document for you explaining all of their damage policies and return policies for each particular vendor as you kind of procure for your project, so you can make better decisions. Another question that we get a lot also, it's around warranties, and we do extend warranties on the product based on what the vendors offer. So if, let's say, down the road in 6 months, the item breaks and it's still under warranty from the vendor, we will help you process that claim. And the outcome of that resolution or that claim, it's dependent upon the vendor, but we will help you kind of do all the back and forth and make sure that we present your case in a way that supports your business. So we're tied, and we're bound by the policies from vendors, but we will make sure to help you along the way through any damage claims or warranty claims. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
We had one from in the chat around tracking. Will we be tracking freight shipments? So I answered that there. Even if it's not UPS, FedEx, et cetera, for the items that we are procuring, we are going to manage the tracking for those. However, we will add that information into Alcove, so you'll be able to see it in the normal tracking area. So if you want to check on that shipment as well, you're welcome to. But we're going to be keeping track of that and updating the status of that item as it moves through the freight process. We had one more here. Valeria, when you purchase from vendors on our behalf, are those orders going under our firm's account with that vendor or general account that Alcove has?
It would go under Alcove's account. because it'll be through our own reps, and we have different, depending on the brand, we have our own reps, and so we have our own relationships. So unfortunately, no, it cannot be processed through the individual designer's account. It would be processed through Alcove's accounts, correct.
Awesome. Okay. Any other questions, guys? I think these are good, great questions. Okay, we got another one. Will you be able to track samples?
Yes. Usually samples are easier to track because they're typically sent through one of our main kind of freight carriers. Most likely it's going to be UPS or FedEx. And what we'll do is we'll add that tracking information for you in the product. Most likely, because it's not the product itself being shipped, we can or you can add the sample as a product, and then we'll add tracking information for you. If you don't want to do that, then we can also just give you the tracking information. But absolutely, we offer tracking capabilities inside the application, so you will be able to track the status of those sample orders as well.
Awesome. I think we have one more from Katrina here around, she said, I think you covered this, but will we have the vendor invoice for my shipping agent?
Vendor invoice for your shipping agent. Oh, yes. For you mean for freight forwarding, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Freight forwarding.
Correct. Yes. We would be the vendor, so we would provide that invoice for you so you can take it to your freight forwarder. Absolutely.
All right. Any other questions, guys? Oh, we got one more. The invoice will have us as the purchaser. So it's a follow-on to the other question. It says the invoice will have us as the purchaser. Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, you will be the purchaser of the invoice. And so as it relates, Katrina, to those international shipments, we're happy to take it one-on-one and make sure that you're fully supported and you get all the documentation you need to be able to export that product out of the United States. Just contact us with any requirements you may need or any requirements that the freight forwarding company is imposing on you, and we're happy to produce any documentation that you need. But yes, it's definitely a possibility for us to issue custom invoices if you need to.
Awesome. We had one here around orders syncing to QuickBooks. So we are in the final testing on our QuickBooks sync for purchase orders and bills from the orders page. So you guys should see that. We got a couple of big launches coming up around that, as well as DocuSign. So you'll be able to send your estimates and client estimates and invoices into DocuSign as well. So please stay tuned. Those are in final testing, and we should have those out very soon to you guys. We'll send you guys an announcement. Right now, you can sync your client estimates and invoices to QuickBooks. So that is live and it's functioning. It's been up for many months, and many people are using it. So if you do have any questions about the setup of that, we do have a lot of help articles, but that is another opportunity if you wanted to hop on an onboarding call. I'm happy to kind of walk you through that setup and the settings, because it is a little bit more complex to work with tools like QuickBooks. So always feel free to grab some time on my calendar.
And I see Sandra here. She has a question around COM orders. We actually do support COM orders. I think our system doesn't really have ways to customize the order COM. So what I suggest you do is you create a unique product for that COM fabric or material that you're shipping to your fabricator. And then you can request a sample, and then we can track that sample on that product itself. So yes, orders that are COM, we do accept them through the system, and we can maybe walk you one-on-one on how to enter those properly, so we can quote them and we can help you track the status of that COM product being shipped to your fabricator.
Awesome. Let's see. Oh, we got one more. Is there a standard vendor discount across the board, or are they all different? Is there an approximate range?
The range typically is between 30 to 40%, sometimes even deeper. It just depends on each vendor. But whatever the designer net pricing is for that vendor, that is the pricing that you will be quoted on.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Any additional questions? Let's see. I think we got. Awesome. Well, I highly recommend for those that haven't signed up yet, you do have that 2-week free trial. So please, get on. You can request your first quote. We can help you get products in the system. We have really easy imports from other systems as well as just your spreadsheets. And we're happy to help format those. So don't ever hesitate to send those our way. I will always plug that we build based on feedback from you guys. So I know the people that are on here that have been on the system, they know they're not afraid to send me feedback, everything. So anything you see that you're excited about or is missing or doesn't work well for you, please send those through the chat, through email, hop on a call with us. We love to hear that, and we actually prioritize what we're working on based on what you guys are asking for. So I always like to plug that in on the webinars so that you guys don't ever hesitate. Don't feel bad about giving feedback. We absolutely love it. So please do that. I don't know, Valerie, anything else you want to close out with here?
No, I appreciate everyone's time, and we're super excited. We think this is a great opportunity for you guys to leverage technology, leverage a service within the environment of your application. So we can't wait to get your feedback on it, iterate, and continue to grow with you all. So like Paige said, feel free to send any feedback, not just on the application, but also on our service. The idea and our mission in Alcove has always been to relieve you, all the design firms, from managing and tracking orders and all the headaches of logistics involving design. So we're really excited to launch this version and hopefully alleviate some of these pains that historically have been very manual in our industry. So yeah, love your support as we kind of continue to revolutionize the industry.
So, thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you. Bye.